Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is the reaction show for the game. Leicester versus Tottenham Hotspur, and the score, Leicester 2, Tottenham Hotspur 4. How the hell have they done this today? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever you've done, Tottenham, whatever you had in your lunch, I don't really mind, because you won a game of football, which you should have done a long time ago. But that being said, I'm welcoming my guests here. We've got Mike Hotspur Hustler, we've got Darius 3K, we've got Sid, and we're welcoming, should I say, Abbi Summers. Welcome all to the stream. I'm going to smile for a little bit because, you know, you've got to get this out of the way. Arsenal fans, if you're watching, you might not be too happy because we're in a UEFA Conference League. I know it's not the greatest league, but anyway, you want it to be above us and you're not. So, my FTB lot out there, if you're watching, I'm coming to watch your stream in a very little short while. Don't you worry about that. I'll be making sure I put them in the box. Hey? Say something now. Anyway, let's get back on with this. Now that's all out of the way with, let's get back to the game. Did anybody see that coming? Because like I said, we did the preview show yesterday and we all was like, yeah, we're going to win. Let's play 3-2, 2-1. But in our hearts of hearts, did we actually see that result coming? I'm going to start with our guest. Abbi, did you see that result coming?
No, I did not see that coming. And quite honestly, I always want my team to win, other than today. It was the one day I didn't want them to win. I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to be part of this ridiculous UEFA Conference League. Like, what is that about, to qualify to get into the Europa League? No, thank you. Like, it's fine. Like, it's just the most unnecessary competition. One that I really doubt we're going to take seriously. It's just another stupid Mickey Mouse thing. And, you know, had we have won against Leicester or any of the other teams that we've lost against and played abysmally against this season and been in with a chance of, you know, actually either qualifying for the Europa League or still being in with a shout of Champions League by whatever stretch, I would have had more, I wouldn't have cared if we'd won today. I would have been happy to win today. But for us to win this, the only good thing that we've done, okay, great, we finished above Arsenal. That's really no big feat. These days it's not, we're just as bad as each other and it's whoever's going to be worse. We've also helped Chelsea, and I just sit there and I literally, that Bale goal went and I went no, and I was like, why are you doing this? Why?
Abbi, ouch!
Why?
Ouch! Come on now.
It doesn't benefit us. Yeah, we won a game of football, but it doesn't benefit us in any way, shape, or form. Okay, we can say great. The youth kids will have a great time. You know, going to Northern Macedonia on a Thursday. Fantastic. It's got literally it's got no monetary value to the club. I'm sorry, it doesn't benefit us in any logical way. It doesn't help the first team. It doesn't inspire anyone to sign. Oh, we're part of the Europa Conference League. No, thank you. So for me, I would have just preferred to have the one game a week. You know, whoever's going to come in, rebuild the side, rebuild the squad, let us play good football, win games that actually need to be won. And yeah, for me, look, I'm always happy to see us win, but I was annoyed to see us win today because the one game we didn't actually have to win today, we've gone and done it. And I was just sitting there. I was like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe it. I
think today, if it had been for possibly to get into the Europa League against West Ham, but as you quite rightly said, we should have done a lot better earlier part of the season, even in the last few games that we've had. And had we got some of the results earlier, we may have been talking about a different thing here. But I'm not going to lie to you. I just didn't want them lot to finish above us. That was the main concern. After all the grief that we collectively gave them, and I particularly gave them, it was just not happening. We were top of the league at one point. They were down in 15th, and now it's close to this. And you're quite right. We're talking about who's worse out of North London. We can't be bragging about being 7th and 8th, but still, I can celebrate St. Gunarin's Day. I'm going to come to Sid next. Sid, what did you think? Oh, see, you've got a Bale shirt on there. You might have.
I've got my Bale shirt on. Yeah.
What's your thoughts today, Sid?
I think it's we're just papering over cracks. This defeat, this win today, everyone's going to take it. Yes, they won, the blah, 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 but it's just been a shit season. I agree with what Abbi was saying. You know what? Today, it was like, are we going to be typical Spursy by winning the game and helping other teams out? Chelsea, when they kicked us out of the Champions League last season, a couple of seasons ago, they were celebrating like mental, yeah? And what have we done today? We've given them a massive lift into the Champions League. I didn't think we played that well, to be honest. There was patches of that game. We done all right. I think when Bale came on, we started playing a little bit better. We were fortunate to get the final 2 goals. But I'm with Abbi all the way. You know what? This UCL, I'm going to call it. I'm not even going to call it a Conference League. I'm going to call it the UCL.
Can't call it UCL because that makes people think we're in the Champions League. So you're going to have to call it something else.
I know. Yeah. But, yeah, I didn't want to be in it. It's like on Friday afternoon now, is it? I think apparently I've been told the games are going to be.
What? I don't know.
Friday.
Apparently Friday afternoon.
Nah,
that's what
they can't
I've
do
heard.
it Friday. That's impossible.
That's
you
what
can't
I've
play on
heard.
Sunday then. Nah,
Well,
that's not going to work.
That's what I've heard. But, yeah.
I think they're kicking off the same time as Europa League. Europa League games on the Thursday. So they'll do the...
So not even going to be on TV then?
Well, they'll be on probably Channel 5.
Point,
Channel 27 or something.
Yeah, they'll be on Macedonian TV. People in Macedonia will want to watch it.
We'll have to get one of them massive dishes in the back and then
we'll probably have
to
to
quite literally.
Come on. But I'm going to come to Mike next. I'm going to come to Mike before I come to Darius. Mike, I know you might feel a little bit like me because you was getting as much grief as me. So, how do you feel about today? The result in terms of the performance, because when we all saw the team sheet, I was like, I'm gonna go mad here. But what did you think of how the team performed today?
I'm not gonna lie, mate. When that first goal went in, I turned the TV off. I'd had enough. I turned it off. I was like, I'm not gonna watch this unless we score a goal. Luckily, we did. I turned it back on. Then we conceded again. I turned it back off. I'm not gonna lie. I was done. It was like you're playing with my heartstrings. I can't cope with this shit anymore. We got it back to 2-2. I switched the TV back on. And then, luckily we got the rest of the goals. But if we lost, my phone would be as I mentioned it off air. My phone would be getting peppered right now. So I'm just glad we won. That's it. I know we're in the conference, but I mean, the only thing you can take away with the conference is if they use it right and bleed the youngsters in it, give them the vital experience, like the first team football, etc., then it could work in our favour from that respect. But to be fair, I just don't care. I'm just glad we won and Arsenal didn't finish above us. I'd have to just go and hide for the rest of the summer. I just wouldn't hear the end of it. So that's what I'm happy about. That's the only thing I can be happy about.
I just like to say just one thing, just with regards to gambling. When the fun stops, but I've actually won 150 quid today, so I'm all right. Darius, I'm going to come to you next. What's your thoughts?
I'll do you one better, Mike. I didn't watch the game until 77 minutes in. I saw the lineup, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you now, guys. I saw that lineup. I saw Harry Winks in the team. I saw Ndombele and Celso not even on the bench, and I said, you know what? I think Deadpool will be a much better use of my time. So I just said, you know what? Throw on Deadpool, watch a bit of superheroes, enjoy my time. Went back to Sam's. Looked at the game, 77 minutes, and it was 2-2. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then Bale goes and scores, and I'm celebrating like we flipping got into the Champions League. And I just think to myself, wow, even if it means absolutely nothing, I'm still going to be invested or still have some sort of emotion towards this team. So I can pretend to care as much. I can pretend to not care as much. But it's always going to be within me for whenever Tottenham score to get a win and celebrate. So I'm happy that we won. I'm happy that we finished above Arsenal. I agree with Abbi. The UCL which is what I'm going to call it because I just refuse to call it a Conference League. The UCL is just not needed for us at all. I don't know how much. You probably win £50 note and a package advocates with it. So I don't think it's going to do any sort of benefit apart from like obviously what Mike said with the youth. If we can play the youth in that team, there's a lot of good 16 and 17-year-olds that I don't think should be playing week in week out in the Premier League that could get very good experience against teams that are effectively professional teams in that Conference League, UCL, should I say? So I think there's one benefit to it, and that's the youth. But apart from the Arsenal thing, and I don't even care about Chelsea and that, even West Ham, we let West Ham finish in the Europa League, guys. There's not many things to really take from this.
There's not really.
There's not.
I understand that.
Did you say professional teams? What professional teams in this competition?
I heard Dundalk in it, and they are professional because they were in Europa League. So it's embarrassing. They were in Arsenal's group in the Europa League this season. I don't want to talk. Let's not even talk about it. My final point I want to make on this game is I watched 13 minutes of this game, and I still want Harry Winks to leave the next. I want him to leave now. I want him to go right now.
he didn't have a bad game today.
Okay, so I might be making the wrong deal.
So-
I just saw the last 13 minutes, and he was stinking out. He was stinking out the King Power Stadium.
He weren't too bad today.
Okay. Let
So
me
most of the
hold
game,
my
he weren't
game
too
judgments.
bad.
Let me hold my game judgments.
There was a couple of moments. Yes, I agree with you that he didn't do well in the last 15 minutes. But overall, I'll have to hold my hands up and say,
okay,
he
that's
did all
fine.
right. But he was given the freedom of the pitch. He was so much space in midfield. He could not fail in midfield today because there was so much space.
And he took one for the team. He took one for the team as well, didn't he? When he gave that ball away.
He also gave the ball away for doing it, though. To be fair, so
and then he took the yellow for the team. So,
but I mean, that's all I can really say is just we won the game or we finished above Arsenal. That literally is. There's nothing else I can really say positive about that, to be honest.
Before I come to the stats, I've got a couple of comments coming up here. So Scott M, the Conference League is fine. Just pray the youth to give them the game time. Better to get that and finish ahead of Arsenal. 100% agree with you. Dara, Bale already released a statement saying he knows what he's doing next season, but won't say till after Euros in case it causes chaos. Interesting. Winks was decent. Marlon again. Sanchez was pants, and that was another thing. Number 6 is what we're going to call him because he was terrible today. Cynical Dad. Winks was doing his typical backwards and sideways passing. Ryan.
Surprise.
I want Bale next season, but this is the thing with the Bale thing. He turned up again. He came on with a game where it was really stretched. Leicester were obviously having to go for it, and he does well. In those situations, Bale's going to look like a worldie. He is a worldie, I know. But against the teams like the Cities, your Liverpools, Uniteds, this is when I want to see him come. He comes to the fore today, and he's got the goal. So, yes, Pipe 71, he didn't have a bad game. He managed to put one foot in front of the other. Well done. Well done. Well done, Winks. Pipes, we've got Pipes. Pipes is very funny. Pipes is in our group, and Pipes loves to give a lot of grief out. Just with regards to the stats today, so this is what we've got. Leicester 47%, 53, 11-10, which is not too much of a surprise because it was a very open-ended game. But I'm surprised that we only had 4 shots on targets, but we were very clinical, 100%.
Wow.
You know, 4 shots on target, 4 goals.
Wow, flipping out.
Fantastic, that's brilliant. And the fouls don't really make any difference. From that, Abby, I'll come to you. Does that show any sort of progression from Ryan Mason, or was this just a game that was just thrown up in the air and it was whatever happens, because they were chasing the game towards the end anyway?
It's a complete whatever happens. There's absolutely no progression whatsoever. And this is just nothing against Ryan Mason. This is not me bashing him. This is not me bashing, the squad. I think we've done it enough this season. We all know what has happened. We know what we have to do. We know what we have to work on. But there's absolutely no progression. I mean, Wednesday night was abysmal. Like, it was actually one of the worst I've seen this season. And every time I say that, there happens to be another one that follows.
Yep.
So I actually thought today was going to be even worse, but I only turned it on second half. I was out and I was watching a wedding the first half. New Zoom weddings are the way forward, apparently. That was much better than what I'm sure I was going to be watching. No, I think that Ryan Mason has come in to do a job. He's come in because obviously Daniel Levy didn't want to take the risk that Jose would have won that trophy. And then had to pay him extra when he inevitably sacked him. And I think that Ryan's come in and he's basically, he's been told to play X, Y, Z. I think that's why we've not seen Ndombele play. I think that's why we've seen Rodon completely drop out. A lot of shop window I'm seeing, shove them all in there and let's hope that there's some buyers. Because obviously some of the selections have been a bit odd.
Weird.
I feel, but obviously,
weird.
Yeah, but when you have someone like Ryan Mason, who's obviously probably going to go back to his previous role, he's working with the club. He's come in. Daniel Levy's saying do X, Y, Z, and that's exactly what he's doing, and that's fine. Yeah. You can't blame the guy. That's what he's brought in for. He's not the manager. He's an interim. He's a caretaker, effectively.
Abby,
go on.
Just quick, who do you think will be the manager?
I have got no idea.
No idea.
Genuinely, everyone I thought was going to be the manager has taken another job. So, so I have no idea. I have this feeling it might be someone like Scott Parker. I just have this niggling feeling in me.
Can I put this out there? Just while we're talking about the managers, given Brendan Rodgers' performances over the last couple of years in terms of this, falling out the top 4, would he still be a consideration for Spurs? Because I think he's a good manager.
I think he's a great manager. I
just think that, there's been a lot of talk about him not being able to get over the line. He's won the FA Cup, so you can't knock Leicester for this season, because I think they've achieved what is a good season for them. Being 5th, is it they ended up being 5th? Yeah. Still a good season being in the Europa League. And if they go on and do well in the Europa League, they could potentially get into the Champions League anyway.
There was that stat flying around about Leicester, wasn't it? It was like 68 out of 71 games over the 2 seasons. And look, at the end of the day, Leicester, I think they've had quite a few injuries over the season as well. And to stay at that level has been very good. Plus, look, if people want to call Brendan Rodgers the bottler because he hasn't finished in Champions League, then he'll fit right in at Spurs. Let's be serious. But I think he's a great manager. I think that he plays fantastic football. I think that he's got an amazing chairman, amazing recruitment at Leicester. He'd be mental to leave. I don't think he would leave anywhere. I think he's already said that. But I think he's a great manager. And also, they can't really view this season as a failure. They've won a trophy. So I know it's not Champions League, but they've still won a piece of silverware. And that's where that whole debate comes back as to what's more important, silverware or Champions League. But for me, he's won an FA Cup. He's done something that club hasn't been able to do. And I think that's a massive achievement.
100% agreed that. I think he's achieving it. And if we'd have won the FA Cup and been 5th, I'd be doing even more celebrations than I'm actually currently doing now. Darius, in terms of the game itself, did you see anything from Ryan Mason to suggest that he's going to be some kind of manager in the future, potentially at a bigger club? I say a bigger club. I mean, what I mean by that is bigger than what he's doing on the under-18s, I should have said.
Yeah, I know it's hard. I understand it's hard to kind of get onto Ryan Mason because it is 100% true. He's clearly not sort of pulling the strings completely in the past month or so he's been in charge, but he really hasn't helped himself. For me, like personally, and for me liking Ryan Mason as a manager and as a guy, he hasn't really helped himself in that case. He just seems like a yes man to me, and I understand. Again, he wants to go back to his job. He doesn't really want to lose his role in the club. But you had chances to play players that are clearly better than the players you were playing, and that would have done something more for you. Like I think that Dyer in a couple of those games and Reguilon to an extent, they weren't playing well and he wasn't dropping them. And I understand Reguilon, we didn't have a left back, but Dyer was his mate, and that seemed very strange. And Winks as well. They just weren't getting dropped, and they slowly started getting more and more game time right after Jose kind of taken that game time away from them for right reasons as well. So I understand that he maybe wasn't making the decisions upstairs, and maybe it was Daniel Levy making the decisions, but still that shows your character. That shows that you don't really have much of an identity yourself, and you're willing to kind of be that sort of person. So what about the decision today to drop Dyer in place of Sanchez? Because I thought, well, you're not helping yourself. You're not helping yourself, are you? Like if you're dropping Dyer for Sanchez, knowing that Sanchez has not had a good game, knowing that Sanchez hasn't played for weeks, knowing that you've got a centre back who was in good form before you came here, I just don't understand it. And the reason that Rodon came was because he was forced to bring him. Like he didn't really want to bring Rodon in the first place. So I can't really give him any credit for sort of wins or losses. It's just neutral. That's what I've kind of decided Ryan Mason's tenure this last month or so, or 2 months that he's been in charge. It's just neutral. It's not good or it's not bad. Because if I say that it's bad and I discredit the good things, then it's hypocritical. And if I say that he's done good and discredit the bad things, it sounds wrong as well. So I'm just going to treat it as it's a neutral thing. Jose got sacked, and from when Jose got sacked, to me that season was over. Because if he wanted to carry on and show some sort of intent in this season, we could have still done a lot this season. We definitely could have still done a lot. Don't forget, he lost that Europa League, but I definitely think that he would have had a better chance in that Carabao. And I also think that he would have played the right place to maybe get us into a high position in the league as well. So I think that from when Levy sacked Jose, the season was done. So I can't get onto Mason, but I'm not going to say he's done a good job either. So
Mike, do you think it's a bit of papering over the cracks today's results?
Yeah, mate, definitely. There's no two ways about it, is there? I think Mason's he's done. I mean, he's done okay as an interim manager. He's got us, I suppose, over the line to some extent. I think it's too early to say whether he has the potential to manage a top club. I think he's got a lot of learning to do. I don't know if he's finished his pro license as well, so he's probably got to finish that off. But I think if he has aspirations as a manager for first team, he'd have to work his way down, probably like championship level, or maybe a little bit lower, and then work his way up. But he's got a lot to learn. Under 18s is completely different kettle of fish to first team football, isn't there? So I mean, the biggest difference I think is the fact he's working with players that have got egos, and he probably doesn't have that in the under 18s or under 23s. It's probably all quite level-headed, and players are sort of eager, willing, hungry to try and get into first team football, etc. So he probably hasn't got to worry about that sort of aspect with management than what he probably has with the first team, because there's obviously a few characters in that first team that probably caused him a bit of a headache. And I think he's got the potential, but he just needs to get that experience lower down the pyramid. And then see
Sid,
where he can go.
what's the most important thing going forward? Obviously, after today's results and the season's now done, we can put this to bed. We can. Obviously, we're going to have a big summer ahead of us. Is the talk of Harry Kane obviously is going to be the big thing. But we've got a manager we need to appoint. There's a lot of stuff we all know that needs to be done at Spurs. I'm possibly looking at the whole management structure in terms of a director of football coming in, chief scouts, and all the rest of it. That needs a real revamp. But in terms of the next step, they reckon that they're going to be announcing the manager in the next few days. Is that manager appointment going to be something that may tempt Harry Kane to say, would you say, depending on who it is?
I think they've already said, aren't they, that Kane's going to have words with Daniel Levy, and it's a conversation that they need to have. I think Kane needs to have a conversation with Gary Neville as well, because we're talking about Mason. Sorry to just go off subject. How about Kane having a word with Neville and taking Mason to Salford, let him take over Salford, seeing their best mates. But in terms of us, this decision now, I think it's a 3-man list, isn't it? It's massive appointment. I mean, it looks like they're already working on it. They've got someone in place, but it has to be the right one. And Harry Kane, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it at the end, the hugs between Kane, Ali, and Son, they went on for ages, and it looks like they were goodbye hugs. And if we want Kane to stay,
goodbye to Ali. Get rid of him.
Might be saying goodbye to that fake jersey he's got on his head. That's what he should be saying goodbye to. Get rid of them dreads off his head. What's he doing?
See you later, Deli Hullet.
That's another story.
I don't know how we called him that. God almighty.
If Harry Kane wants to stay at Tottenham, I've still got a 10 to 15% feeling that he will stay with us. But it all depends on that manager. That manager has to be the right appointment, the right manager, and most important thing, he has to take us in the right places and get rid of these dead wood players that we've got. It's a massive rebuild. The director of football, get the right coaching staff in, get Tottenham's philosophy back, get the way we play football. We 100%. Used to play football. We're not playing football anymore. 100%. Yeah, and it's really, really peeing off the fans, because I don't know, I've got 4 season tickets and I still haven't renewed. I know friends that haven't renewed because we're waiting for this appointment. It's massive.
It's huge.
It's massive. Yeah. It's massive.
He's definitely going to rumble on for the summer. I hope that the manager does get appointed in the next few days. And we know, because there was some talk about they had to wait till the end of the season, which kind of makes me think, is it someone that's in a position now?
Sorry to interrupt you. Can I just say who no one talks about that we should have gone for? I think we should have gone for Bielsa. That's just my opinion. I think that Bielsa plays. If we're going for someone, look how many people have turned us down already, right? Bielsa plays exactly the style of football that you would want us to play. Okay, both Pep and Pochettino have modelled themselves off of Bielsa. You know, he for me also has pulling power. No, I'm sorry. When I look at it, and I think out of the teams in this league, what managers do I like and their style of football they play? Aside from Brendan Rodgers, the next one down for me is Bielsa. I love how Leeds play. Leeds play football, how Spurs used to play football.
You see, I don't have a problem with that. My only issue with Bielsa, and it's nothing to do with Bielsa. It's literally the fact that I know that he will never, ever, ever get along with Daniel Levy. There's a story of him literally going to Lazio and leaving after 2 days because he had transfer issues with their director of football. So,
but who does get on with Daniel Levy?
This is the thing. So I personally think,
unless it's a yes man again. Like, no one is going to go on. And that's exactly it. Also with Jose. And look at all the comments Harry said. And I was never particularly pro Jose because I was never Pochettino out, you know. And what frustrated me with him is when I did get on board and when things started to go wrong, he was just so stubborn he wouldn't change anything. But, you know, you look at the senior players in that side, someone like Harry, someone like Hugo, they both said, it's not him. It was the way the rest of the squad don't have the bottle and don't have the character to play the way that they need to play. And I'm sorry, sometimes you have to look at the squad, and the squad has been a big problem for many years now, you know, and their mentality and their character. So for me, someone like a Bielsa coming in, it's another big enough name that can assert a thing over. I'm sorry, I just can't see someone like hypothetically like an Aurier or a Lamella caring what Scott Parker thinks. I just don't think
they won't.
care.
100% they won't. 100%.
I just don't think they care.
No, they won't.
The thing is, and I think that the Bielsa thing is definite. There's a way of playing that I really like about Leeds, but I just think that you can see Bielsa's personality, his character. He's not going to take the shit that Daniel Levy will throw at him. And I just think for that, it'll be so combustible that I'd say within about 9 months, it will be done. And I just don't want us to get somebody like that with potential that gets broken down and we end up just recycling managers. They really need to get this appointment right. They really need to bring somebody else that's in between Daniel Levy and the manager. And that has to be a director of football. Once they get that, let Daniel, as I'm saying on other streams, let Daniel Levy get on with all the business side of things, the communications, all the rest of it. Make Spurs into the team that he wants us off the pitch. On the pitch, just stay out of it. Stay out of it.
And Sam, you mentioned that, Sam, about characters, and Abby, you said about characters as well and players. That does come from upstairs as well, and the director of football. Because I was just watching a video about Luis Campos, and Luis Campos, the comparison between Luis Campos and Steve Hitchen is unbelievable because he is so committed to learning everything about those players. It's not just about what a player can do with a ball at his feet. Everything about a player. Luis Campos said the way a player trains, the attitude of a player, even as much as their social media insights and antics on social media, it goes and it shows how much a player is going to work hard and try for a team and what his personality is going to contribute to the team. So I believe that with the right structure in mind and getting the right players in mentally is a big start as well, because you're not going to be able to, like you said, you're not going to be able to have Serge Aurier and players like Harry Winks running and pressing. If people are complaining about Poch's double sessions in pre-season, there is no way on earth. If you look at a very, very interesting stat about Leeds sprints, their sprints compared to the rest of the Premier League is astronomical. It's literally like that on the graph. So there's got to be a lot more than just bringing in a manager with a good philosophy. And I do believe that we can do it. But I think the most important things are the Deadwood and the manager, 100%. And then we can start moving on to the directors of football. But if you've got a director of football and a manager with all these players still, nothing is going to change. And we all know that. So we all know that.
Yeah.
Massive summer for Spurs. A massive next few weeks. I'm hoping that we can sort something out before the beginning of next season, because there's a lot of stuff to sort out. Guys and girls, it's been a pleasure. We've gone
over. It's over. Oh my God, it's over.
It's the last reaction show until the new season. But we've got a lot more to do. We've got a lot more to do. But anyway,
Euros, haven't we? Yeah,
there's a lot more football to come.
Just one more. We haven't qualified for the UCL. We have to go through a playoff before we actually get into the group stages.
Are we going to be playing school teams? We're basically playing school teams from Macedonia, aren't we? It's school teams from Macedonia.
Yeah. We're in the playoffs.
It's early August, isn't it?
Yeah. We kick off the Premier League and then it's the weekend in between the second weekend. The playoff. Two-legged playoff.
That's next season. That's next season. Let's not even think about it. That's next season.
Let's talk about
this. You want to talk about it in July?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was actually happy, and now I'm getting. Oh God, now we've got. So I'm going to stay up. I'm staying up. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you all for watching. We cannot do this without you. We've now passed 300 subs. We're on the way to 400. Please, if you can, like as much as possible. Share this content with all your friends, family, and the rest of it. And we'll try and bring you all the Spurs content we can. Good, bad, indifferent. We've got a lot more to come. We've got obviously talk
very different.
And there's a lot more stuff for Spurs to be doing in the closed season. So watch out for us. Guys, Mike, Darius, Sid, and Abby, thank you very much. I'm going to have a beer. I'm also going to see if I can collect my winnings. And I'm going to keep smiling and give some people more grief on their WhatsApp group. If you're still watching your FTB lot on your Arsenal Armory, I'm coming right now. So I'll see you very soon. Anyway, thank you very much.
See you there.